This forbidden book used to be read alongside the Bible. So why did the church quietly ban it? Well, today we're going to find out. Part 1. Opening. The Bible is like an iceberg. We see the tip above the water, but what lies beneath the surface? Shocking claim. Genesis is the beginning, but it is never the whole story. And that's exactly where the book of Jubilees takes us, where the true origin story of humanity begins. We hear about the creation of the world, yes, but also about the deeper mechanisms at play. Why did evil survive the flood? What was the true language of Eden? How do angels work? And what was the Messiah's name? These are some of the questions that Jubilees answers. But the most shocking question of all is this: why did the church bury this book? Why did she hide this forbidden knowledge from us? Is there something in its pages that we should not know or read? And how does it relate to the Bible we have today? Let's take a journey back in time and find out. Part 2. Birth of a Forbidden Book. It's the 2nd century BC and the Jewish people are in Jerusalem. They are under pressure to conform to the customs of their Greek and Roman neighbors. Will they lose their religion and identity, or will they stand firm? In this atmosphere of conflict, a scribe trembled as he wrote these words down, afraid that he would be killed if anyone found out. He claimed that this is the message that Moses received from an angel on Mount Sinai, which he never shared with the Israelites until now. You see, while Genesis only talks about the 10 Commandments, Jubilees says that Moses got over 500 more laws, including what we call cosmic law, which regulates the interaction between heaven and earth. This is how Jubilees compares to the Bible we have today. Some say that Jubilees is just an appendix to Genesis, but that's not quite right. Yes, it repeats some parts of Genesis, but it also creates a completely different theology. For example, Jubilees teaches that on the same day God said, "Let there be light," He also created the angels. Angels are divided into 4 categories: the presence, those who show themselves; the sanctification, those who make things holy; the protection, those who guard and guide; and the control of nature, those who influence the forces of the world. They have free will, can fall, and even rebel against God. The Watcher's story is one such example. 200 fallen angels leave heaven, fall in love with human women, and have children. These children become giants, and when they die, their souls turn into evil spirits or demons. This explains why our world is still full of evil, because evil is not only caused by human beings, but is also a legacy from heaven. By the way, Genesis is very brief, but Jubilees is much more detailed and gruesome. Part 3. Demons allowed to remain. The main evil spirit, Mastema, goes to God and asks permission to keep 1 to 10 of the demons he had produced. Why? So that he could test humanity. In other words, Mastema wanted to bargain with God, saying that he had the right to tempt people and cause them to sin. At first God refused, but then he changed his mind and allowed it. Now you might think this is crazy, but it explains why temptation and suffering were still present after the flood. Think of the book of Job. There, Satan appears before God and says, "Didn't you put a hedge around Job to protect him and everything he has? But stretch out your hand and touch everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." In short, this forbidden book shows us that evil is not a mistake, but a divine bargain. Part 4. The Language of Eden. According to Jubilees, Adam, Eve, the animals, and even the serpent all spoke the same language, Hebrew. All that is, until the people scattered at Babel and Hebrew disappeared. Later, it was taught to Abraham by angels. But why is this important? Because language is not only for communication, it is also a technology of creation. Each Hebrew letter contains creative power. Jewish tradition calls this gematria, which means the numerical value of Hebrew letters. For example, if the numerical value of one letter is 8 and another letter is 5, and you add them together, you get 13, which is the value of another letter. Jewish sages saw gematria as a door to understanding God's will. And that's why Jubilees is very important, because it reveals that before Babel, everyone understood this power of language. But afterwards, only a few knew. Part 5. The Law before Sinai. Did the law appear with Moses on Mount Sinai? Not according to Jubilees. That's because, according to this book, Adam kept the Sabbath in Eden, Noah knew the difference between clean and unclean animals, and Abraham kept the Passover before the Exodus. In other words, law is not a later invention, but a structure built into the universe. Some might think, but isn't that too complicated?
But remember what Jesus said, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." To understand this better, let's look at the word DNA. When a child is born, doctors can tell a lot about that child based on his or her DNA. It's like a manual that contains instructions for the whole body.
So when it comes to the universe, the law is like the DNA of all things. Breaking the law is not just a crime, it's like disrupting the foundation of existence itself. And that's why the church rejected Jubilees. It conflicted with early Christianity. Jubilees forbade intermarriage with non-Jews, but the gospel preached salvation for all nations. Jubilees honored angels, but the gospel emphasized that only Christ is the mediator between God and humanity. Jubilees enforced the law, but Paul preached grace. Part 6. Ethiopia's Witness. While Rome rejected Jubilees, Ethiopia kept it in its official Bible. For Ethiopians, it's not a forbidden book, but part of the Old Testament. Today, Ethiopians read Jubilees like Genesis, not as a contradiction, but as a complement. Some see Jubilees as too radical and reject it, while others consider it the core of their faith. Part 7. Conclusion. So what can we learn from this forbidden book? It shows us a universe where law, language, and time are not just tools, but the foundation of existence. Everything in the universe is connected and interdependent. And when we break that connection, we bring chaos into the world. That's why Jubilees is so powerful and dangerous at the same time. It's like a weapon of mass destruction. It's banned because it's too strong. It's too divisive. We cannot handle the truth. But the question remains, if Jubilees is indeed the word of Moses, are we living with an incomplete Bible today? If this story opened up a new perspective for you, write your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue uncovering hidden secrets.